Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, just allow any feeling of tension or stress to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath, enabling you to release and relax. As you breathe in deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, really feel like any stress, worry, or tension is leaving your body, which is why you're breathing out deeper and longer than you normally would, to help the release of that tension, stress, or worries, almost feeling like it's being projected meters away from you. Breathing in a feeling of calm resourcefulness and exhaling all that you don't need right now. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine you're breathing in a particular resource. Imagine you're breathing in not just relaxation, but a sense of composure and perspective. In most cases, severe anxiety is not proportionate to the level of threat, but to the intensity of the evaluations made about that threat. It's possible for someone to freak out over a tiny spider, even a small bird, not because the spider or bird is dangerous, but because there are false evaluations taking place. And sometimes the evaluation that the thing is causing the anxiety creates a self-perpetuating loop. If the spider is causing the anxiety, avoiding spiders is your only strategy. If the bird causes the anxiety, avoiding birds is your only strategy. And if the possibility of vomit is causing the anxiety, the only strategy is to avoid or mitigate the possibility of vomit. In all three cases, the evaluation is not true. It is not the thing that causes the anxiety. The paradox is it's the evaluations that cause the anxiety. Different evaluations create different feelings. The person scared of a spider has a different evaluation, perhaps about butterflies or kittens. And someone that feels that the possibility of vomit causes them anxiety may make different evaluations as to the possibility of someone sneezing or fainting. As you breathe in and breathe out, you start to recognize sometimes the thing is not the thing. It's the evaluations about the thing. But the good news is, if it's the evaluations, new evaluations create new emotions. So breathe in a sense of hope, confidence, and perspective. And breathe out the remnants, the echoes, that somehow something is happening to you rather than with you. As you breathe in and breathe out, I wonder if an early memory sowed a seed of an idea that wasn't true. As you breathe in and breathe out, think back to an early memory, but this time observe the memory like you are you, going all the way back to the past, seeing it through your eyes now. Almost like you're teleporting through time, and imagine there is an invisible version of you able to see what happened back then. Perhaps you can go to a childhood memory and see yourself as a young, vulnerable child, perhaps witnessing or observing something that was distressing in some way. If you can imagine seeing that memory and feeling empathy for that version of you without feeling connected to that version of you, let me know by nodding your head. You are not in your body. You can observe yourself as a child. And I want you to see from this perspective why it was perfectly natural for this child to start thinking about vomiting the way they were thinking about vomiting. They perceived it to be dangerous or scary. They perceived it to be a cause of distress and terror. And therefore they wanted to avoid those emotions going forward. And anticipation, evaluations and mitigations were the only things they could do to avoid the possibility of horrible feelings. But as a young child, they couldn't possibly have known that a lifetime of evaluations and mitigating, of evaluating the possibility, would end up causing more of the very emotions they were looking to avoid. They couldn't have known that. And the goal was not to evaluate and mitigate. The goal was to make a broad evaluation that they can handle this undesirable thing, that they can cope. The need to mitigate and evaluate is not as useful as having a sense of acceptance and perspective. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel a sense of empathy for this younger version of you. But I wonder what might happen if you imagined that this younger version of you treated what happened in a similar way to how they might observe a fit of sneezing. Rewind the memory and see that younger version of you not being terrified or distressed, not being sad or vulnerable. See them being mildly inconvenienced. What is happening is still happening. Maybe there is vomiting in a different room, but they're acting like it's just a mild inconvenience, like they were overhearing someone sneezing. See that younger version of you, not terrified, not distressed. Maybe a mild level of concern. See them with an empathetic expression, but also see an absence of trauma. They're looking at it like something that is very easy to manage. The vomiting is not a problem. It was the evaluations they made about the vomiting. And when you see this younger version of you looking at it at a similar way to overhearing someone sneezing, see that they are no longer distressed, no longer terrified, no longer sad. See them perhaps as a younger version of you that wakes up for a few seconds, evaluates that nothing serious is happening, and quickly goes back to bed. And when you see that younger version of you looking at it in that way, let me know by nodding your head. And then rewind. And then step into that younger version of you so you feel like you are that 6 or 7-year-old. Imagine you're hearing the same things. The sound of vomiting in a bathroom. But this time, you treat it in a similar way to overhearing someone sneezing. You treat it like it's a natural biological thing that's undesirable but still tolerable. No distress, no trauma, just a mild inconvenience of being awoken at night before quickly and rapidly going back into a peaceful, relaxing sleep. And if it feels like this is now manageable, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to shift perspectives back into that older version of you and go forwards in time and imagine that you're going back to all the memories that you can remember of childhood, of seeing you distressed around vomit or the idea of vomit, but this time see a version of you that looks ambivalent, pragmatic. See the expressions of someone that is unfazed, unbothered. Maybe there are moments of real vomit or just the possibility, and yet the facial expression of that younger version of you couldn't really care less. There's a sense of caring and compassion that anyone would have, not wanting someone they love or care about to be ill or sick, but without feeling that it's a big deal. Each time you observe yourself and you can see for certain that younger version of you is unfazed, rewind, step into that version of you and feel how it would feel to be back then unbothered. Notice the inner dialogue is not exaggerating and not having that contagious effect of this means this, but more, okay, these things happen, no big deal. Anything that relates to you personally, there's an overall essence of I don't like it, but I can deal with it. I can cope. And as you connect to the absence of anxiety, you feel a wonderful feeling of empowerment, a sense of being in control. You don't like it when people sneeze around you, so you would create more distance. You don't want to increase the amount of times that you catch a cold, so you eat well and stay healthy. But you don't spend time worrying about the possibility of catching a cold. And therefore you already have the infrastructure, the neural pathways to think in an equivalent way about vomiting. It's not desirable to vomit, but you don't need to think about it. And it's not desirable for the people you love and care the most if they get sick. But you can just treat it like a family member catching a cold. You'll deal with it as it arises, but it doesn't have to be more severe than it actually is. And sometimes old echoes of previous evaluations may come to mind. And when they do, you can smile, seeing them as the echo rather than the present time. An echo might start with an anxious tone of voice there in your head. And quickly, you can change the tonality to be similar to the inner dialogue you would use if evaluating the probability of fainting or sneezing. You now have a framework to shift from anxiety and panic to composure and pragmatism. And if your unconscious mind now feels that the future gives you more sense of control, less anxiety, and more acceptance, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to now travel into the future, perhaps a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and just imagine observing the future version of you, hearing perhaps a friend of one of your children is off school due to vomiting, and observe your reaction, as your reaction is that of concern for them, but without any anxiety or worry or fears that it could lead to an increase of vomiting anywhere close to you. See your body language, your facial expressions, the questions, very similar to how they would be about someone who had a cold or a flu. Concerned, but not worried. Empathetic, but not with any anticipatory fear or anxiety. And if you can see that future version of you handling things the way you would like to handle things, with a sense of perspective and balance, let me know by nodding your head. Step into that future version of you and imagine there is a worst case scenario. Imagine perhaps there is some kind of virus going around. Highly likely that several people in the same household will be sick, and yet you treat it as if several members of the house have just got a bad cold. Feel a sense that you can manage it, cope with it, handle it, and notice the absence of that inner dialogue and stress and anxiety, and a more pragmatic approach. A shoulder shrug, I'll deal with it. As you feel a wonderful feeling of releasing the past and embracing a new positive future that feels more like other areas of your life. As you breathe in and breathe out, return to the present and take all these changes with you. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken, you will awaken, realizing this wasn't an irrational fear. It was just a rational fear that wasn't useful. You've tried it for a few years, and it no longer serves its purpose. And there are other ways of thinking that seem like it would be more useful. Every echo of the past is an opportunity to train your brain to think in this new way, activating neural pathways that already exist and already have a sense of balance and equilibrium, leading to less anxiety and more of the quality of life that you desire. Breathing in and breathing out as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8. Open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.